welcome to the One Up Game podcast. Me, David, episode 269. Slowly getting up to 300. So, yeah, please visit our website, oneupgaming.co.uk. Our t-shirts and cups and things, you can go to ougtech.co.uk. This episode is sponsored by Games Inspired Music and Audio CD. 10% of each sale will go to Child's Play charity. You can get it on the Play Store, the iTunes, on like Spotify, things like that. Amazon, I think, have it as well. So just go on there and buy this. It's really good. Going to some good charities. So I guess we'll just do a really quick one this week. So first games that we've been playing this week, I had another go at the Road Redemption, which I think I played it about a year ago and I thought it was quite good. I had a quick re-go at it and no, I've changed my mind. It's very simple, very basic. They haven't like added much of a story to it and it just feels very incomplete. It's got hardly anything. You know, it is just like a very basic Road Rash sort of game, and why doesn't EA just do a proper Road Rash reboot? It could be so good. It could be so good. The next up, and I had a quick go at the Marvel's Avengers games just because it came to Game Pass. Because I thought like paying like 60 quid for a game and then, you know, it's just like you have to like, buy add-ons and all this rubbish. But I only played the single player sort of story mode. I got about an hour into it. It seemed okay. The fighting, combat mechanics feel very cheap. So I don't know if that gets any better when you upgrade your characters. But I wasn't enthralled in it. But the story was quite good. I was getting quite into the story. I thought it was quite fun. So it's a game that I would give a bit more time to play, just to see what more could be done with the game. So yeah, at the moment it seems good. I just have to see what happens in the game itself. So next up, Phoenix Point. Now we've got a centre code for this. I don't know if it's like free to play or if it's on Game Pass. I don't know, but we've got a centre code anyway. Watching the intro sequence for it, and I was like, oh my god, this sounds amazing. I can't wait to get into this first person shooter game. You know, it just sounded really good. And then the game came on. Bear in mind, I'd never heard of this game before. And the game came on and it was made by some of the developers, or the developer that did the XCOM sort of game. So it's like a third person, cover based, turn based sort of strategy game, where you got to like move your guys on a grid, and then it can snap into like a first person view to shoot the enemies if you get into the range. And although that sort of game isn't my favourite sort of genre, this game, I think with the story, the intro, the intrigue, it drew me in quite well. And the game plays well enough, it looks nice. So I would say that Phoenix Point is a game worthy to buy, to put time into, and hopefully it will continue to grow with like these free updates and expansion packs, things like that. Anyway, next up, Tetris Beat. Now, I didn't play it long enough to work out why it's called Tetris Beat. I know it had a bit of a beaty music, like but the game itself is Tetris. The thing that I didn't like about it was it's made for Apple Arcade, so for your phone it might be alright to sort of like swipe down, you know, to sort of like move round, but unfortunately I had it on my MacBook, and googling around, it looks as though the Xbox Series X and S pads aren't compatible with it yet, but the Xbox One X pads are compatible. But I don't have an Xbox One X pad, only the Xbox Series X pads. So I had to use the keyboard to play the game, and it just didn't feel right trying to play the game with like the arrows and stuff. But it looked nice, the sound was good, the graphics was good, the little sparkly effects were good. So I guess all in all, if you got Apple Arcade, give it a go, see what you think. Next up was a game that got sent to review, and this was YouTuber's Life 2. Now in the review we were quite harsh on the game, and I think that's because I can see where the developers were going and I love the idea, but it's very simple. I think this game, because of the name, has been like developed and designed for, I would say, like 8 to 10 year olds. So it is very simplistic. You have to edit your video. You don't edit the video. You've just got segments 1, 2, 3, 4. You just put them in whatever order you want, and then you create a name for it, or you pick one of the names that's already available, and then you click go, and then it just sort of like stars flash up to how well you've done. And you have to create fake Instagram sort of profiles and Facebooky profiles, try and get more influence and that sort of thing. So I like the idea of the game. I just think, for me, it's not challenging enough with the editing process of the videos and all the bits and bobs. But for a youngster, it's quite good. But in the review, it was basically, why would you pay 50 quid for this when you can get like Animal Crossing or The Sims 4, which are still able to be played by the youngsters, but they're much more fleshed out, fully featured sort of games. So unfortunately, that's where we're at. I would easily recommend the other two over this game. Next up, Far Cry New Dawn. And this game, it was one of the first Far Cry games where I was just like, I can't be bothered. It just didn't grab me at all with the intro, the twins, it just didn't do anything for me. So I'll just quickly move on. And the next game was WipEout Rush. And this is a newish game that's come out for like Android and iOS. Mobile WipEout game. So the graphics look quite cool, very cartoony, very pop in your face, sort of bright colours with black outlines. The music's nice. Unfortunately, the game itself is on rails, so you don't really do any movement. You can fire your weapon and you press go at the start to get a boost, and that is the game. That is the WipEout game on mobile. So I guess if you just go into the toilet and want 5 minutes, just click a couple buttons, it might be quite fun. But if you are wanting to do a full featured game, it's not that. It's like a tap game. Next up, Far Cry 5. And this game, I think I probably mentioned it before in other podcasts, but this one, the first 20 minutes or so of the game, it is absolutely stunning, brilliant beyond belief. I just love the fact of you go into a village that's been taken over by this smooth talking lunatic who is saying that he's on God's side and you're the people coming against God's will, and he's like brainwashed all the village people living in the community, and it's so creepy. But when you're watching the bit, it is like, I can really imagine things like that happening. You know, people, if they're promised the promised land, people can be easily persuaded to do the really, really dodgy things. So Far Cry 5 for me is probably the best in the Far Cry series. I love that game so much. On a lighter note, I had a quick go at Daytona USA for, I think it's the Xbox Live version, and this game, it's Arcade Perfect Plus. So it's Arcade Perfect 60 frames a second, but now it's like full widescreen, and they've cleaned bits up and it just looks good, runs well. I've always been, for the Sega games, Sega Rally for me was the better game. The way it felt, the way it moved, so much better. And for the on tarmac style games, I was always a Ridge Racer fan. I've got Ridge Racer tattooed somewhere on me. But I've got Sega Rally tattoo there, I've got Sega's AM2 there, I've got Street Fighter, PlayStation, Saturn, Xbox, Virtual Cop, Street Fighter 2, Virtual Fighter 2, Sega. Yeah. Anyway, brilliant game. I don't know if you can still buy it or not, but it was only cheap. It's only like 10-15 quid. It's amazing. It's really good. And the last game that I've played this week was a arcade football game called Golazo, or something like that. Golazo, Golazo. And although from the trailers it looked really good, you know, it's basically going about no fouls, no offsides, action-packed game. But when you're playing it, it feels very, 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 very low budget. The movement of your characters don't feel right. The passing, the moving doesn't feel right. The shooting's just a bit off. The graphics, although they look quite cool, very arcadey, they just lack the definition and the detail needed for a modern football game. So it might get better the more you play it, but I still think if you've got Apple Arcade, Sociable Soccer looks amazing, plays amazing, and I believe that's coming early next year to like Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC. So if you're waiting around and want a good arcade football game, then Sociable Soccer is probably the one to wait for. But yeah, so that is all that we've been doing this week. So that's the first half of the One Up Gaming Podcast, episode 269. Still me, David, still talking rubbish. But thanks. Back in a couple of seconds. Still David here, still One Up Gaming, still episode 269 of the One Up Gaming Podcast. So we're just going to go through a quick bit of news today. So first of all, it looks as though Sony has been granted a patent which would allow spectators on platforms like Twitch, to actually vote players off. You know, it's just, I don't understand it, to be honest. So basically, the ability for spectators to pay to bench players in the games they're watching. So I have no idea what the hell this means. It just seems very crazy. Oh God, this just looks so complicated. I have no idea what any of this means. I have no idea. I guess it was like, I guess Sony has bought the Evolution Championship Series, which is the largest fighting game tournament. So I guess it makes sense. So I guess if people playing the game in the tournament, they might have, say, like 100 games going at the same time. So if you're watching that game, you could sort of say, "Oh, we don't really fancy this game. I will pay you $1 to change it to the game I want to watch." And that's crazy. That is crazy. Anyway, I don't understand it. I don't know if anything will come of it. Maybe in 3, 4, 10 years' time, things might change. But then the next up, it looks as though No More Heroes' Suda51 was asked to make a Deadpool game by Activision. He was once asked to make a Deadpool game. So over a decade ago, he was actually approached by Activision to make a Deadpool game. It was sometime after the first No More Heroes came out. Obviously, that never came to Fury. It never came out. It fizzled out in the initial planning stage, but I had some really cool ideas at the time for it. Yeah, so that could have been quite cool, because some of the Suda51 games are little bit crazy, little bit crazy. So next up, it looks though Square Enix reveals its cancelled survival horror Tomb Raider game. As part of its 25th anniversary celebrations for Tomb Raider, Square Enix has published 3 new videos featuring an array of details from the cancelled survival horror game Tomb Raider Ascension. Oh, that's pretty cool. So I guess we'll just put up the text for you guys to read, which you can probably read right now. But yeah, so that could have been quite different. Next up, Transformers Rise of the Beasts has wrapped up filming. So that means, when did it actually announce when it's coming out? Ooh, the Optimus Prime truck looks mint. I guess Bumblebee's still that car. There's a camper van, there's a motorbike, and there's a Porsche 911. I don't know. So I guess it's called Ride of the Beasts because this one got the Beast Wars, like the dinosaur sort of things. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. I guess I'm just sort of trying to see when it sort of says, because all these big budget movies, there we go. It's scheduled to hit theaters on June 24th, 2022. So that's quite. So unless this was the finished filming, that the reshoots, because normally it takes a good year and a half to get all the visual effects done in the movies, and it's only got 6-7 months left to sort of like go. So yeah, so I'd have a guess that a lot of all that sort of filming is fully done, and now it's the VFX team going in to add all the effects, make all the edits and cuts, things like that. So next up, the Xbox Series X and S finally gets 2 terabytes and 512GB storage expansion cards. So Microsoft has announced a 2 terabyte and a 512GB model, which will be joining the existing 1 terabyte model. So the 512GB will be available in the United States for $139.99. Be released in November. The 2 terabyte card will be available for $399. Wowzers. It's almost the same price as the bloody console, just for the drive. But hopefully, I think Seagate's deal with Microsoft was a year that they had exclusive deal to make expansion cards. So I guess once that's sort of done, then other manufacturers might jump in and make cheaper sort of cards. So I'm not going to really talk about this because I don't know much about it, but I'll just shut up for 10-22 minutes while we put on the Uncharted trailer, so you can watch that now and see what you guys think.
There are places out there you can't find on any map. They're not gone. They're just lost.
Hey, kid. A little young for a bartender, aren't you?
A little old for prom, aren't you?
Everything in here. Why the map?
This is the path that Ferdinand Magellan took to sail around the world.
You know your history.
It's the biggest treasure that's never been found.
5 billion, easy. I think you're here because of your brother.
Wait, you know my brother Sam?
If we find that gold, we find him too.
Who the hell is this?
I'm a friend of Sully's.
Sully doesn't have any friends. I should know I'm one of them.
You are a collector.
Well, I dabble.
I don't dabble. My family has been looking for this fortune for a very long time.
So much blood.
I'm pretty sure he's just threatening to kill me.
Don't touch your ear like that. You look like an idiot.
You have no idea who you partnered with.
I've been dreaming about this stuff since I was a kid. My brother Sam left one final clue.
Guess I'll keep on living. Oh my God!
I shouldn't have come out to play with the big boys, Ian, because you're about to get a proper Scottish welcome.
What?
Oh, crap!
Exclusively in movie theaters.
It turns out that Kevin Feige really enjoyed Charlie Cox as Daredevil, and there's rumours now that that actor is coming back into the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, to play Daredevil again. But some of the storyline, some of the arc, some of his characteristics might be changed because Kevin Feige didn't agree with some of the stuff that happened in the series. Next up, it looks as though EA has banned over 30,000 FIFA 22 players, and this is because there was a exploit that people were able to do. So you could just press the home button and it'd time out and you wouldn't get a loss. So basically, if you're winning the game, just win the game. If you're losing, just press the home button, wait for the timeout, and then it wouldn't go down as a loss. So then people were getting the 20 wins in a row to get more points, more cards, more cheating, basically. And I agree with banning people. It looks as though FIFA EA have just banned people for a week, so they can't go into this week's tournament. Which it's like you're banning people from going into a tournament, which they shouldn't be going into the tournament anyway. You should have just banned them from going into the tournament for like a month or so. But I don't know, it's weird. Why would you want to cheat at a game of FIFA? I get it, these people who want to get the cards to sell, things like that might work. Anyway, it looks like Facebook is going to change its name. It's going to embrace the metaverse. So I'd have a guess that's because Facebook now owns it owns a lot of stuff. But I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the names they're looking at. I don't know what the whole thing is going to be. It's just weird. And so, yeah, we'll just quickly move on. I'll go through this week's top 40. So, number 40, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered, Red Dead Redemption 2, Lego DC Supervillains, Lego Jurassic World, WarioWare Get It Together, F1 21, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, Mario Golf Super Rush, Pokemon Sword, Plants vs Zombies Battle for Neighborville, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Pokemon Shield, Ring Fit Adventure, Super Mario Party, Marvel's Avengers, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Crisis Remastered Trilogy, Lego Harry Potter Collection, Super Mario Odyssey, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. Now we're getting into the top 20. So at number 20, Just Dance 2021, Luigi's Mansion 3, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Alan Wake Remastered, Sonic Colors Ultimate, Minecraft Dungeons, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Hot Wheels Unleashed, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, The Hinokami Chronicles. I have no idea what that is. Never heard of it before. Now we're into the top 10, and that is Grand Theft Auto 5, Super Mario 3D World Bowser's Fury, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Minecraft, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Back for Blood. I'll have to give that a try. I've got that on my Xbox. Metroid Dread. Never been a big Metroid fan. Far Cry 6. I don't know, because the last few little iterations have gone off. And at number 1, FIFA 22. And that is this week's top 40 sort of score chart. So yeah, please visit our website, whatgaming.co.uk, patreon.com/OUG, bluecyborg.com, you can buy t-shirts from them, and a mug, I think it is. The sponsor of this show, Games Inspired Music, out now. 20% of each sale will go to the Child's Play charity, so please buy that. You can buy the first 100 podcasts from us from audiobooksontape.com. That is £9, and £1 of each sale will go to the Diabetes UK charity. If you want to buy anything from Amazon, we have Amazon links on our website. Click on them, make your order, and we get a small, tiny token gesture just for advertising Amazon. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, just search 1UP Gaming. We're on Twitch, just go to twitch.tv/OUG official. Tweet us at OUG official. Email us at contact at 1upgaming.co.uk. And if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to us. If you're listening to this on the podcast, please subscribe to the podcast, give positive feedback, 5 stars. It really helps promote us in the searches and results. And that is me, David, from 1UP Gaming, saying thank you for watching the 1UP Gaming podcast episode 269. Thank you. Goodbye.